This is Hollywood. Matías Bombal with you. The best of the independent studios releasing movies today, A24, brings us the end of the tour with Jason Segel as writer David Foster Wallace. Wallace, a noted author in real life, was known for his 1996 novel Infinite Jest, which by 2006 had sold over 150,000 copies. In this movie, we're given a dramatization of actual events that transpired when a writer for Rolling Stone magazine, David Lipsky, played in this movie by actor Jesse Eisenberg, is able to convince his editor with some difficulty to be able to travel from New York City to meet and interview the intelligent novelist for 5 days in 1996. Part of that time is spent as Wallace concludes the publicity tour for the book, Infinite Jest. The story is told in flashback, based on Lipsky's memoir of their encounter, entitled Although, of course, You End Up Becoming Yourself, and begins 12 years after the days they spent together when Lipsky is informed of the author's death. He decides to revisit their days together by digging out his portable tape recorder from deep in his closet to listen to their recorded conversations. Miraculously, after 12 years, the batteries are still good, and Lipsky begins to listen. We are then in 1996, and here's a scene early in the movie where the two are trying to break the ice.
You know what I would love to do, man? I would love to do a profile on one of you guys who's doing a profile on me.
That is
Or is
interesting.
that too pomo and cute? I don't know.
Maybe for Rolling Stone, but
It would be interesting, though.
You think?
I'm sorry, man.
What's wrong?
It's just you're going to go back to New York and, like, sit at your desk and shape this thing however you want. And that, I mean, to me, it's just extremely disturbing.
Why is it disturbing?
Because I think I would like to shape the impression of me that's coming across.
I see.
Yeah.
I
I
understand.
don't even know if I like you yet. So nervous about whether you like me.
Jason Segel there as Wallace across the table from Jesse Eisenberg as Lipsky. This movie presents an interesting premise about a seemingly simple subject, the art of the interview. Nothing could be more complex if approached seriously. The interviewer is motivated by any number of reasons and asks questions to satisfy his need for knowledge or the demands of his employers. The subject of the interview is concerned, as was Wallace in that last scene, how the finished work will shape his own idea of himself and how he may be perceived. In the case of Lipsky's motivation, the movie forges the impression that he's a frustrated writer, has read Wallace and finds him impressive, and seizes the chance to insist on doing the story not just to interview him, but to gain a greater understanding of him so he may reach the goal of becoming like him. He is then faced with the difficult dilemma of either reporting the information as a writer or becoming Wallace's close friend. And this is what's at the core of what makes this screenplay by Donald Margulis so interesting. In this scene, their discussion is more as friends might chat rather than interviewer and interviewee.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Could you tell me about that poster over there?
Alanis?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm susceptible like everybody else. What?
I mean, she's pretty, all right, but it is like
She is
the
pretty.
only thing in there.
She's pretty in a very sloppy, very human way.
Oh.
You know, she's got this like squeaky, orgasmic quality to her voice.
Right. Yeah.
Here's what it is.
What?
A lot of women in magazines are pretty in a way that is not erotic because they don't look like anybody that you know.
That's true.
Yeah, like you can't imagine them putting a quarter in a parking meter or like eating a bologna sandwich. Whereas Alanis Morissette, I can and have imagined her like just like chowing down on a bologna sandwich. I find her absolutely riveting.
This movie is very well written, and Jason Segel's performance is outstanding. How refreshing to have a talking picture with talking. The idea of the movie is interesting, and the fact that the events did actually occur in real life adds a frankness to the story that makes it agreeable. Danny Elfman's music is subtle when needed and perfect. You'll see Mamie Gummer, Meryl Streep's daughter, in a few scenes. Interestingly, her character's name is Julie, which by chance she's happened to have played a part with that name in at least 2 other movies that I know of, the recent and ill-fated Ricky and the Flash and 2008's The Loss of Teardrop Diamond. There are also some delightful moments from Joan Cusack as a publicity handler for Wallace on the last stop of the book tour. Now that I pointed out the levels of excellence in this movie, I must come to the primary flaw which made it fall apart for me. The performance of Jesse Eisenberg as David Lipsky fell flat for me. It seems the actor's push to be extra nervous and careful in a very millennial way, driven yet cautious, seems forced and over the top. He never has moments of relaxation and seems at times unnatural in his portrayal of eagerness and drive. I really did not care for his performance at all, and he brought the chance for this picture to reach the heights of excellence that 1981's My Dinner with Andre achieved to an impossibility. But for Eisenberg's portrayal, it might have been that good. The Motion Picture Association of America has given this an R rating, likely for historical smoking. This is your pal, Matías Bombal, bidding you a fond farewell.